Hello, everybody. I'm Thrash Maniac HD, and this is your NXT review for November 20th, 2013. And before I get started, I just want to say, despite the matches not being as good as they usually are, for storyline purposes, this is one of the best NXT episodes I've seen. This is a great episode. And let's get to it, shall we? First, we start off the show with a Bo Dallas homecoming segment with Bo Dallas returning from his world tour and basically out there acting the way he normally does, acting corny and cheesy and giving cookies out to the fans, acting like an obnoxious face even though he's a heel. JBL comes out and basically is saying how proud he is of Bo Dallas being the face of NXT, like Triple H is proud of Randy Orton being the face of WWE. Out comes Sami Zayn returning, and he's out there trying to take a shot at Bo Dallas. And JBL's like, because of your remarks, I could suspend you indefinitely, but I'm glad you served your suspension and you took your medication. I'm proud of that. So I'm going to reinstate you. And Sami Zayn's like, well, I won't have any problems starting from the bottom back up again. And JBL's like, well, luckily for you, it's only one win away because tonight, throughout the night, we're going to have beat the clock matches. And whoever has the fastest time gets a title shot at Bo Dallas. And funny enough, the first match of the night we get is a beat the clock match, and it is Colin Cassidy versus the monster, the Bulgarian brute, Alexander Rusev. I thought for a big man match, it was alright. I mean, it wasn't terrible, it was okay. But Alexander Rusev's been on a roll ever since leaving the Legionnaires, leaving Sylvester LaFord and Scott Dawson, and having that hot blonde chick with him all the time, that Lena girl, I believe her name is, or something. But but Alexander Rusev picked up the win in 5 minutes 33 seconds. I thought it was an alright match. Then we get an interview with Adrian Neville about his awesome match he had last week in the 2 out of 3 Falls match against Corey Graves. And as a result of the match, Corey Graves got a concussion. And Adrian's like, well, I'm glad I got rid of Graves as I did. Now I can focus on trying to become the new NXT champion by winning this Beat the Clock challenge. I thought this was a great interview for Adrian Neville to make a statement. Then we get an interview with Bayley, who is still sad and heartbroken at the fact Charlotte Flair turned on her last week and joined up with Summer Rae and Sasha Banks. And Bayley starting to seem like there's going to be a change with her. Maybe she's going to stop being the starstruck fangirl into being more serious. And I thought this was an interesting little segment for the show to show what Bayley can do. But then we get the next match, which is another Beat the Clock challenge. And it's funny, they recorded these episodes in months in advance. And we know there's one of the participants in this next match just got recently released. Still not too happy about it, but I'm over it, but I'm just still not happy about it. Tyler Breeze versus Cassius Ohno. I thought for this, it was a decent match. I thought it was good for what it was, and Cassius Ohno picked up the win in 4 minutes 48 seconds. So yeah, it was cool for me. Now this may be the last time Cassius Ohno's on NXT because of the release and when this episode was taped. So at least I got to see him leave with a victory. So yeah, I didn't want to see him in the third match he had lose again. The other 2 times I've seen him on NXT, he's lost twice to Luke Harper. But he picked up the win over Tyler Breeze, which I thought was pretty cool. Then we get a tag team match, Hunico and Camacho versus a guy named Johnny Organ, I believe his name was, and Chris Rockwell. This match was like 15, 20 seconds long. Hunico, Camacho, epic squash over the Jobber team. So I thought it was pretty cool to see Hunico and Camacho again. I saw him on Main Event a few weeks ago wrestled Los Matadores, and I saw Camacho last week lose to Mason Ryan, and now Hunico's back, as in they're together a team again. And with this match, and I'll get to the segment later, but then we get a Cassius Ohno interview, and I thought this was a really good comedy interview because the woman who's with Alexander Rusev was angry at him for beating his time, and Cassius was mocking that accent. I thought it was pretty funny. But yeah, sadly, that might be the last time Cassius Ohno is gonna be on NXT. I don't know. We'll see. But to my knowledge, it's probably going to be his last episode since he got released and when this episode and the episodes beforehand were taped. Then we get another Beat the Clock challenge, Adrian Neville versus the Artiste, Aiden English. And I thought this was a good match. I thought it was a pretty good match for what it was in the Beat the Clock match. Adrian Neville wins with the red arrow in 4 minutes 45 seconds, so he beat Cassius Ohno by 3 seconds. I thought that was pretty cool, and Adrian Neville was really determined to get a shot at Bo Dallas and do what he can do with the NXT title. But then we get a segment with the Ascension, the tag team champions, and they're addressing Hunico and Camacho's challenge that they were making to the Ascension for the tag titles, and they accept, and they said that they're going to be broken down and the Ascension will rise. I thought this was a great segment to build up what could be another pretty good tag team feud for the Ascension. This time it's going to be with Hunico and Camacho, 2 main roster people, to test them. But then we get to the main event, which is the final Beat the Clock match. Sami Zayn versus one of my favorites of NXT, Leo Kruger. I thought this was a pretty damn good match. I thought this was the match of the night. It was pretty good for how short it was. Sami Zayn ended up picking up the win at the exact same time, 4:45. And Bo Dallas was actually on the stage keeping an eye out on the match to see what was going to happen with Sami. Then when the clock hit 0, after the 3 count was made and the time was dead even with Adrian's 4:45, JBL decided to come out and he says, I am not going to have the era of the wrestling god be controversial like Dusty's was. So next week, we're going to have a #1 contenders match. Sami Zayn versus Adrian Neville. Winner gets a title shot, Bo Dallas. I'm kind of glad JBL made that call because I am so looking forward to this match. Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville. That's the recipe for what could be the best NXT match ever. Could be better than Sami Zayn, Antonio Cesaro. You never know. I mean, both of these guys are phenomenal wrestlers. I mean, I've known of Adrian Neville from his indie days as Pac, mostly from 420 Goonies, telling me about him. And of course, Sami Zayn we know is El Generico from ROH. So this is basically Pac versus Generico, except it's Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville, WWE. And this match has the recipe for the best NXT match of all time. I can't wait for it. I can't wait for next week. Can't wait for that match. And the winner gets a shot at Bo Dallas, and that's going to be really interesting to see as well. So, applaud JBL for making that match. So, yeah. But yeah, that does it for this week's episode of NXT. Despite the matches between decent or okay to pretty good, because of the storyline going out throughout the whole night with the Beat the Clock challenge, that's what made this episode a great episode. So if you guys want to check out this episode, there will be a link in the description box as always. Check it out, and you won't be disappointed. But until next video, peace.